Hello, everybody. Today we are here on the Align podcast with Ian. And Ian, could you tell us a little bit about you and your company and what you have going on there in Denver?
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Thanks for having me on. My name's Ian Davis. I own Karen Contracting out of Golden, Colorado. I've been in the industry for going on a decade now. I started off, in the industry in college, going to
Uh-huh.
college for architecture. And then when I left college, I moved out here, kind of worked for a exterior company, a lot of painting. And I just wanted more. And I also realized that I probably don't work very well for other people. I work best for myself. So I opened
There you
up a
go.
company to help homeowners with their homes.
Oh, nice, nice. So this is your roofing company then. Is it, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's Karen.
Karen. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. uh, so tell us a little bit about what you do in the industry exactly and what services you provide to the customer.
Yeah, so we focus primarily on the exterior of the home, except for
Okay.
paint. So we handle the roof, gutters, siding, windows and doors. We install fences. We really try to focus on the beautification of the home and the
Okay.
items that help protect the home
Uh,
from exterior elements.
okay. So, and you deal strictly with like residential, not commercial, right?
I do both
Okay.
residential and commercial. We primarily work in residential. That's just kind of what our main focus is, but we still do work on some commercial projects, select ones that aren't too intricate with structural elements, mostly just on the, again, just beautifying the outside.
Okay. So basically, you don't do a lot of new construction, then you're doing like repair, maintenance, things like that.
We do some new construction, but yeah, it's primarily improving the home, it's repairs, it's reinstallation of existing.
Um, okay. So how long have you been in business?
So we've been in business since 2017. We started off
Nice.
in December of 2017, part-time. I was actually working for an exterior company at that time. And I decided in January of 2020 to actually step into this full time.
Okay.
So it was just me for the most part. And I had quit my job and I started pursuing this full time January 2020. And it's been quite a ride ever since.
I see. I bet you were busy.
Not as busy as I would have wanted to be
Yeah,
that
COVID
year,
probably
but
didn't help. Yeah, COVID kind of knocked a lot of people down, unfortunately. So, like, can you kind of paint me a picture of like your daily operations?
yeah, so I have a sales guy out in the field. He's always running consults throughout the day. And I have a project manager that runs all the management of the project. So at this point in my business, I'm really only doing a lot of estimating on the back end for my sales rep, but also
Okay.
more or less planning for the future of the company. So a lot of just brainstorming on how we want to move forward and what direction we want to move and how do we tackle a lot of the issues that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. What would you say? What's your growth like over the last, see 7, 8 years now? How's your growth doing with your company since you decided to take it full time in 2020? Your revenue growth and everything.
Well, yeah, so it's been kind of a roller coaster. So
Yeah.
all the while building the company, I'm trying to learn how to be a business owner at the same time
Mhm.
and be a leader to a team I'm trying to grow. And so
Right.
when I first started off, it was tiny, very small revenue.
Right.
I just broke six figures my first year, 2020.
Congratulations.
A couple, thank you. A couple of years later, I jumped up to 500,000. And then the
Great.
very next year, 2023, I hit a million for the first time.
Well, wonderful. That's a good
2024,
milestone.
it was, and it was very exciting. But what does a new, young business owner that doesn't really know what he's doing, trying to figure it out. How does he handle that kind of a growth
Right.
out of the gates? 2024 was kind of a reality check. You know, we were able to reach that $1 million again. We kind of plateaued at revenue, but our profit margin took a massive dip. And the big reason for that was we grew very quickly, but we didn't have the people in place to support that kind of growth. And we took a hit trying to make it happen.
Well, um, yeah, just to give you a little background on me. So I got into the roofing industry when I was 17 out of my co-op at high school. I did the co-op where you leave for work, and I got a job with a commercial roofing company in Houston called Antex. And
Mhm.
I started working there, and I was in that industry for 22 years. And I became vice president of the company for 15 years. And the amount of change that has happened in the industry over the last 20 years compared to the previous 20 years, because that company had been in business since 1972, still in business. Mike is still going strong down there. But yeah, so it's been a lot's changed because you had your old like commercial wise your old asphalt roofs, and then they moved into TPO, right? And EPDM and all that kind of stuff. So the industry has substantially changed over the last 20 years. So I get your struggles with growing too fast, growing too slow, because the ups and downs that have been created before COVID were crazy, and then after COVID, it got even crazier. And it's a lot for somebody uh, like your size to handle the influx that comes in. So I imagine you're kind of like a bobblehead type of figure for the
Yeah,
last years.
you could say that for sure. And then not to mention, I'm not building a business that's based on insurance. I'm
Yeah,
not going to base it on weather patterns, but that's
yeah,
part of the job, that's part of the industry. And the insurance space is changing so rapidly these last couple of years, and
yeah,
it's going to be a completely different look in the next couple of years. It's not even going to be recognizable
yeah. And where are you seeing those changes the most at?
from the insurance standpoint.
Yeah, how's it affecting your business? Because
Well,
I have insurance is an pain point for a lot of companies.
yeah, so insurance has historically, they were there to pick up the pieces when things fall apart for homeowners, when a hailstorm hits, when a tornado touches down, whatever it
Right.
might be. But unfortunately, you can't ignore the fact that the home insurance has honestly been very um, beneficial for homeowners in a way that you don't see in any other types of industry spaces. Look, for example, at vehicles. If you're driving a 2024 Mustang, sorry, if you're driving a 1978 Mustang and you wreck it, you don't get paid for a 2024 Mustang.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you the value of that vehicle when you wrecked it, and they're not gonna pay you to go buy a brand new vehicle at new cost. But
Yeah.
you see that with roofs.
Yes, you do.
That's not going to happen in the future. In the future, it's going to be what's the value of your roof, and you're not going to get compensated. So I see that a lot.
Do you? Because right now I deal with a lot of people in that do insurance and roofing and everything, but they do it on. You said you're doing a lot of residential and small to medium jobs, I guess. And some of the
Mhm.
people, yeah, that I talk to, they're doing like warehouses and huge project management type of stuff, and they're not seeing those issues yet. But you're saying you see those coming.
They've actually already started to hit in some sectors around here. And based on my conversations, a lot of my insurance friends, they're saying it's right around the corner that it's going to be ACV only for most properties. And they're also attaching age limitations to your roof. And so once your roof hits a certain age, they don't cover your roof anymore until you pay for it out of pocket to get it replaced, no matter the condition. And I'm seeing that a lot. I've
That's
gotten a lot of
crazy.
projects this year alone are from homeowners who are saying, hey, my insurance said my roof just hit 12 years. So when I renew, they're dropping me until I pay for it. We'll go out there and inspect it, and it looks great, but their insurance is making them pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, that's not going to work out very well. There's going to be a lot of issues there. How
Yeah,
are your current clients handling that?
well, they're not happy.
Yeah, wouldn't imagine.
They're definitely, and their question is always, what do I have to put on my roof so that this doesn't happen again? And the answer is,
Good question.
we don't know. We don't know
Mm,
yet. We have no idea. This is all new. I'm not surprised by it, but it's all brand new and we don't actually know how to face it. So let me give you an example. If you know your roof is you're gonna have to pay for a brand new roof in 12 years, what's the point of getting an impact rated roof?
yeah.
So you're dealing with, I either get a non-impact rated roof and I increase my likelihood that a hailstorm will destroy it in the next 12 years and my insurance will pay for it. Or I get an impact rated roof and I actually increase my odds of having to pay for the entire thing out of pocket in 12 years. What do you do?
Yeah. What do you do? What is the solution?
Again, it's so new to us. I don't know. I ask people, what's your goal? Are you planning on staying here for a long time or are you planning on selling your house?
Yeah.
Do you plan
That would
on changing your roof from asphalt to metal or to tile? Like what is your goal for your home? And then we try to go from there and figure it out from there. Everybody's going to be different, but it does make it very difficult to have this conversation with somebody when they're essentially being backed into a corner and they're forced to pay for it.
yeah, it's not quite working out the way insurance was supposed to be designed.
That's right. It's not at all.
All right. Wow, that's going to be really interesting to keep up with and follow. I'm glad you mentioned it because I haven't heard that yet, and I've been doing these for a while, a little bit now, and that's the first time I've heard that. So that's going to be really interesting. Um, but I do a lot more commercial, so that might be why. But you never know. Uh, I just find it hard to believe that the insurance companies are going to be able to put that on their clients. I mean, how are they going to uh, the legality of it all and the requirements? I mean, if you at what point does a homeowner say, "Hey, I'm not going to pay anything for it. Why even bother with having this insurance?"
Right. That's a very good question. And then it also raises the question of what's the point of having a 50-year shingle, a 50-year
yeah,
roof covering?
exactly.
What's the point of a manufacturer's warranty? What's the point of a workmanship warranty? So all these questions are being raised from these policies that are being implemented. And the fact is that it's hard to imagine that this is going to be allowed, but it's already happening. Like I said, when you look at a car, you don't get paid for a brand new car of this year's model just because you wrecked yours a 10-year-old model. So it's already happened in the automotive world. It's going to happen on the roof and the home space as
Yeah, you can
well.
do gap
Uh,
insurance though, but you have to pay extra for the
yeah,
gap insurance.
you got to pay extra. So there's always a way around it, but it's how much
Yeah.
more do you want to pay?
Yeah, it's really sticking it to the clients from every angle, and that's not really gonna. Hopefully, we can come up with some better solutions. So that's a lot to take in, and that's a lot for the client to have to put up with and to deal with, and then the contractors out there trying to help them deal with it makes their job even more difficult. So um, you were talking about your growth. So you've grown substantially over the last couple of years. Then, what are you looking to grow? Are you looking to do the same this year? Are you looking to double it? Where are you at? Where do you think you're going to? What are
We
you looking?
Yeah, so last year, like I said, we ended right around 1 million. It was just north of 1 million. I was just trying to build my team up. We went in the red on profit margin, trying a few different things. Didn't work. But this year we're actually projected to hit 1.2 to 1.3. We have a team that we've built now and our profit margin has increased. And the reason for that largely has to do with bringing on some additional services this year that we weren't doing last year. So, for example, we weren't doing siding last year. We were doing primarily roofs and gutters, and that was about it. This year, beginning of the year, I decided let's bring on siding. It's the same licenses, it's the same crews, it's the same suppliers. It's pretty
Yeah.
much a roof that's vertical. It's not very different in terms of the
Right.
construction of it. So let's bring on siding and see how we do. The roofing space, at least from a residential standpoint, just completely tanked this year. There was very limited number of hailstorms that hit. With all of these tariff scares and all that, people
Yeah.
did not want to spend money on their homes. And so, as an example,
The
last
economy
year
in
we did a
general.
exactly last year alone, we were doing primarily just roof and gutters, and we did about 1 million. This
Mhm.
year, our roofing side alone is only going to do about 150,000. The
Mm.
rest of that is from siding, windows, doors, fences that we brought on as a way to complement our existing service portfolio so that the whole idea was originally just to battle the off season. Let's see what else we can bring on and scale so that when you get to the off season, we've got some services that we can still do a little bit of because you can't do any roofing when the winter hits.
No.
So what else can we do when the snow flies that will help supplement what we brought in from the roofing side? And it ended up just being what we did all year instead of being really a supplement.
Um, where do you get your lead service and all? How are you producing these clients? Are you door knocking? What are you doing?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I'm probably atypical of most companies. I don't do any online advertising. I don't do any social media advertising. I do like social posting and whatnot, but all of our leads come from word of mouth, networking groups. We do some door knocking, but we're not going to be that company that rushes into a storm zone to knock doors. We're
Right.
the ones that knock in the areas that we're doing work in. We like
Right.
to establish a presence, prove that we're local, show them that
Neighborhoods.
we're here to
Yeah.
stay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, and where do you where do you see AI affecting your company?
I am so glad you asked that question. I personally love AI. I really do.
Yeah.
And I know there's so many people out there that hate it. They're afraid it's
You're scared
gonna
of it.
steal their
Yeah.
jobs. They're scared.
Yeah.
But here's the reality of it. History repeats itself. Okay. You look way back when email capability came about, you better be emailing people and keeping track of all of your information on your computer because files are and paper files are going to be a thing of the past. When social media started coming out, you better be on social media. You will be left behind. AI is the next thing. I hear people say, "Oh, it's going to steal our jobs," and no, AI is not going to steal your jobs. But what will steal your job are people and contractors that use AI to further their
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
I absolutely love AI. I use AI every day.
Well, that's the company I work for, and that's what I do. I have my own team that helps companies build out AIs within their systems to help things go faster, more efficient, utilize it in every way we possible to increase your growth revenue and just help you grow. And uh, people are absolutely terrified of it, especially in the blue collar industry. A lot of guys, a lot of women, they're just really hesitant on it. And then once we get in there and they see what's going on, they had no idea that it could do what it does, and it can help the automation, the workflow, your daily operations. Um, I mean, content creation and lead generation is a whole new bog. They've made it so much more cost efficient in the marketing area. It's like it's on steroids. It's crazy, but it's going to do so many wonderful things for the industry, and I think that people are so terrified of it they don't really want to give it a chance, and then the ones that do want to give it a chance, they have no idea where to begin, so they don't know where to bridge that gap. So for instance, a couple months ago, I had 10,000 AI tools at my disposal with my company, and now just a couple months later I have 40,000. It's crazy how fast it's expanding, how fast it's growing. And I mean, my updates are daily, but I work with the client, and I monitor and I do all my stuff on my end to make sure that those tools and everything flow into his systems and are updated correctly, and everything runs smoothly. It's kind of like what we do is HI interacts with AI, right? So we combine the two together, where you have human intelligence working with AI, artificial intelligence. And I think that's really where people get confused. They're like, oh no, it's going to take over. No, you still have to have the human oversight. It still has to be there. It's not designed right. It's not right now anyways. It's not designed to run on its own. And I don't think it never really was. It was designed to run with us and for us. And I think people need to realize that, because it's such an amazing tool. And for a company like yours, it can do the work of 5 people, right? But you've got to know how to implement that and get all that set up and have it running for you the way you want. But you've got to figure out what that is. The AI can't figure out what that is. You've got to tell it what it is. You've got to communicate with somebody like me who integrates it and adds it into your systems. That way it works the way you want it to work, the way you want your company to be designed and grow. And people forget that it's just not some advanced, Terminator robot that knows everything. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's something new, and whenever there's something new and there's change, people are scared. People
Yeah.
don't like change, and they don't like to have to learn something new, unfortunately. But that's the nature of the human race. We
Yeah,
create
forever.
things. Yeah, we create things that help us be better, be more efficient. Every single thing is a tool. I mean, if you stripped away the ability of a human to use tools, that just makes us a wild animal, right? We
Absolutely.
utilize tools, and that's all that AI is a tool. It doesn't know intent. It doesn't have intent. You have to provide the intent and the direction,
Right.
and then it can do things for you that you could never do on your own. You might as well use it as a tool.
Absolutely. And that's where people get it it's misleading to them. And that's where I come in and explain it. And I dive into their company, and we just dissect their company and the functionality of it. And then I take it back to my team. We analyze it and say, okay, how can we make this better? How can we get the growth they're needing? How can we make all these pain points and inefficiencies work better and smarter? And that's what we do. And that's how we help companies. But if people just give us the opportunity to show them how we could do that and let us implement it, then you see exponential growth. So, you had the .com and you had the internet, and, iPhones and everything just start hitting the market, and you had that steady growth. Well, AI is actually going to shoot that up even more exponentially. And if guys like you and guys like the people that I talk to every day, if they don't at least start looking at trying to implement that and get on that ship, they're going to get left behind, and they're not going to be able to keep up with their competitors. And and then you're going to have another company not make it. I mean, and this probably better than anybody does. The roofing industry and the repair industry in general, your percentage of companies making it long term are, less than 10% of companies, especially in the roofing industry. They don't make it. They don't make it past that 3rd or 4th year, right? So you are fighting an uphill battle. So you have to utilize as many tools as you can.
I could not agree more. It's always going to be an uphill battle, as it should be, honestly. Anything worth
Yeah.
pursuing is uphill.
Yeah.
So,
And it is. But nothing good comes easy. But when it comes, sometimes it comes really big and it's really fabulous and it works perfect. And those are the moments we live for.
and I personally believe that even with AI, you're still fighting uphill. But the difference is that
Yeah.
without AI, you're dragging your visions and your dreams behind you on a sled. But with AI, you've just added wheels to it. It's on a
Right.
car.
Your analogies are fantastic, by the way. Yeah. That's well, Ian, I'm doing this podcast. Yes, it's a way for me to meet people and help, utilize the products I offer and help them grow and partner with them. But I do this podcast because I don't have to do the podcast. I can come to you directly. I do the podcast because the awareness that's lacking right now with AI and the way that it's hitting the market is really, upsetting to a lot of people, and confusing, and I mean, they're not fragile little babies. I'm not suggesting that at all. Maybe some of the college kids are, but you know, your blue collar guys, they don't know how to handle or how to implement whatever's going on. So I do this to really try and raise awareness that there is a path forward, and there's a path forward with a community and communication for us to get on board together. And that's why I do this. And I hope it helps. We'll see. A year or two down the road, we'll see how well it helps. But that's what we're trying to do.
Well, every good endeavor, you just have to stick with it. That is the
Yeah.
main reason people fail is they give up.
No, and I think if your
And
intentions are good and you're truly trying to help the community you live in, and I think then you're on the right path. I think if you stick to the morals and that integrity of really trying to build something, I think that's where really good people become really successful people.
I agree.
Yeah. So, as far as the podcast goes, I always like to ask some more questions about if you had to somebody that, let's just say, you in 2017, what would you tell somebody who wanted to start their own company like you did? Because I have a lot of people, young people, trying to figure out what they want to do. A lot of them are blue collar guys or blue collar families and gals, and they just don't know where to begin. And they're constantly looking for answers. So what would you say to them?
I would actually have them. The most important thing that you can do is figure out your why. Like, why do you even want to pursue this? It's not for everybody. And
No.
statistically speaking, most people that try it find out it's not for them.
Right.
And they
The
thought it was.
yeah.
Right. And they thought it was. And so my advice is to find out your why. And I have a very good exercise that you can do to find that why. It's something that I did, and it's the reason that I still have my business, the reason that I push every single day to make my business something special.
Oh, do
It
tell.
was revealed to me. What's that?
I said, do tell.
So it was revealed to me by a friend of mine. He took me through this exercise, so the credit goes to him. But what you do is you take a pen and a paper, and you can do this by yourself or you can do this with some friends, but
Hmm.
you're going to go to a graveyard and you're going to try to find a tombstone where that person lived about as long as you are alive.
Oh, wow.
And you're going to
Yeah,
sit down there and
deep.
you're going to look at, yeah, it's deep, but it reveals some things about you. And you look at that tombstone and take a quick mental note that they have a start date and they have an end date. And that little
Hmm.
dash in between was everything that they accomplished in between those times. And you right now are in your dash. You're in that space.
Hmm.
And then I want you to write a letter to yourself from the perspective of somebody very close to you. When
Okay.
that letter is supposed to be read about you at your funeral, what does it say? Who are you? Who did you become? I guarantee at the end of that letter, you read that back to yourself, that is not who you are right now.
Hmm.
And that's
Interesting.
okay because that will give you the opportunity to become who you want to be. Now, I'm a man of faith. So after I did that exercise, I prayed about it and I asked God, what does this mean? Who do I need to become? And He laid it out for me. He told me that my goal is to edify myself and others, is to build other people up. Is
That's
to
awesome.
lead people to find their future and find their purpose. That is my why. How do I do that with a roofing business? Comes down to the culture. Now you build your culture around that.
Very interesting. So you decided to build your culture around helping others and helping them with your company.
My why in my company is to give other people a future. So the values of my company is altruism, to do things that are going to benefit others before yourself. Trusted leadership, which means the leaders that are above you are pouring into you. And you can trust them not just from a business, from work, from your vocation, but at home as well. Synergy, how do you work well together? How do you find strengths in yourself and strengths in others so that you guys can work together and make something that's much better than just you guys individually? And then my last
That's
one is
funny.
lifelong learning. In every single moment, you should be learning. You should be learning something new, growing, making yourself better in different areas of your life. And so I have all of my team members, I don't call them employees because, as Dave Ramsey says, employees show up late and leave early and they steal while they're on the job. Team
Yeah,
members, I
it's a
have all
team.
of them go through, yeah, it
It's a
is. It
community.
is. And
Yeah.
I have them go through a series of exercises where they list out um, their goals, their hopes, their futures, their strengths, who is relying on them, why are they important to you, what are your next steps to accomplish those goals, and what's going to happen if you don't accomplish those goals? How does it affect those people that are relying on you? And it puts things back into perspective. We are not here to fill our own pockets with dollar
Mhm.
bills that disappear when we leave. We are here to make a mark. We are here to leave a legacy and leave this world better than how we found it.
Right. It's funny you say that. That's what I have two boys, and that's what I teach them. I have one that's 20 and one that's 16, and that's kind of your analysis of the dash in between is all those things you said. That's how I tried to raise my sons, and that's I think it's important because if you don't have community, you don't have faith in the people around you, and you don't make it a team where you don't collaborate together, you're not going to be successful in this world, and you're not going to leave an imprint. You're not going to leave a legacy for anybody that would want to pay attention to. And that's not really contributing to the making the world better, or to the people you care about. So all those
Yeah.
things are very important. So we appreciate that take on that deep note today that you provided. I didn't know where you were going when you said go to a graveyard there for a second, but that was a great piece of information. We really appreciate that. Ian, it has been fantastic having you on today. You have enlightened us with so many things we were not expecting, so we really appreciate that. I think your insight and some of your analogies were fantastic and spot on, and also inspiring, and give somebody an idea of how to assess where they want to be and where they might want to go, especially our younger groups, because I think that's a big question on a lot of younger people's minds right now, is they are trying to find that why.
Yeah, and Amy, I really appreciate you having me on, inviting me onto this podcast. And I do hope that what we talked about does impact some people in a positive way.
Well, even if it's just one, then it's worth it, right?
Absolutely. Just takes one.
All right. Well, look, you have a fantastic weekend, and we sure
You
appreciate
as
you coming
well,
on the
Amy. Take care.
podcast. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you.